do you have a really good plan? Okay, well, you probably should scratch that off because that isn't going to happen. And then you better have really big balls of steel.
Loosely.
You're going to need to have balls of steels and be able to think on your feet and
be kicked in the face.
Kicked in the face and
smile.
And you have to look like you love it.
Welcome, everyone, to the podcast that has no name yet. That's what we're calling it. It's the podcast that has no name yet podcast. That's the name of it, right?
But it has to have Wichita in it, because it has to optimize that way.
But we're going to ask you out there
no
watching.
Name Wichita podcast.
A what? A no-name Wichita podcast.
Right.
This is a podcast that has no name, but it's in Wichita. Podcast. Welcome. All right, let's go. So
today I brought in one of my friends from high school.
Okay.
So Natalie Peters is here with us, and she is our first victim.
You guys went to high school together?
Yes.
Okay, Natalie, after the show,
West Side.
we're going to connect because I want to hear all the stories about Leslie.
We didn't run around too much in high school, fortunately.
Was she
now,
tame?
if Rochelle was here, a mutual friend, she could give you some stuff.
My parents were super strict, so I have zero stories about anyone.
There you go, you got out of it.
Whew, I was lucky.
Well, we brought a guest on the show today, and her name is Natalie, and she is the owner of, you say it, Vorshay's, right? Vorshay's Cocktail and Lounge?
Vorshay's Cocktail Lounge.
Vorshay's Cocktail Lounge, and I'm sure a lot of you have been there. I know I've been there, and it's a great place, but we want to learn a little bit more about you. Leslie already kind of knows you.
Yeah.
But only to a certain degree because she was locked in her house when she was a kid.
Right, she was one with the strict parents. I wouldn't have hung
Were
out
you allowed to
with
listen to rock and roll?
Did I know?
No. No rock and roll.
No.
Now we hang out because she doesn't have to live in that strict house.
And I own a bar because my parents are super strict, so it works out fabulously.
Okay, so give everybody a little bit of your background.
Yep.
Well, we went to Mays,
Yes.
and my husband has always traveled all over the place with work, and he was in Iraq, and I was like, you have to come back here because I can't stand it when you're gone all the time. This is our story of how we came up with Vorshay's. And we were going to open another location, a different kind of bar, and that didn't work out. So he brings me to this location where Vorshay's is, and I have to backtrack just a little bit, but when I was 3 years old, my mom used to work at this place downtown called Brandon's. And it was this really cool bar, and I remember going there as a kid, and it had a slide. And so every time I was growing up, we'd go downtown for whatever reason. I would say, Mom, didn't you used to work at this place, and it was so cool, and it had a slide? She was like, yeah, it was this place called Brandon's. Okay, we'll flash back to normal time, and Steve takes me to this place, and it was the place my mom had worked at called Brandon's that used to have a slide.
How crazy.
And you liked the slide.
Oh, the slide was really awesome when you're 3.
Right, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Still have
what
the
it
slide when
was.
you looked at it?
Was
No.
it like the vibe? Was it the slide? Was it the color of the slide?
Well, this
What
building,
made it so memorable?
I think it was probably just the slide.
The slide. When
Yeah.
you're 3 years old, you like a slide,
Yeah.
right? So that's how you start a bit. That's a business idea in the making.
Yep.
So he takes
For a
me to this
3-year-old.
building, and I'm like, well, I swear this is that place. And I tell my mom, and she's like, oh, absolutely, this is it. And in the meantime, throughout these 40 years that this building has been here, it's actually 100 years old. It was built in 1908 by Emma Lou Dodd, which is a woman, which back then, which is like not,
That's a big deal.
it's
Yeah.
a big, giant deal.
A womanpreneur
Yes, see?
100 years ago.
See, I get goosebumps about it because she really likes me.
Wow.
So anyway, he wants to open this bar, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but at least you're back, thank God. But yeah, sure, we can just do whatever you want, babe. And then, so it took us 11 months to open this place, and we scraped by. We built things, because he's a construction, he has a contractor's license, and so we built things, and then we put all of our money into Vorshay's, and then we built things and put all of our money into Vorshay's, and 11 months later, we finally were able to open, just barely. And
What year?
it was actually 5 years ago this month.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
So September 23rd of 2018 was our original open date. And
That's
then-
exciting. 5 years.
So what was it before? What was there before?
It has been a whole bunch of things. It's been several bars. It's been originally a movie theater. She built that building for William H. Marple, and it was the original Marple Theater. And she must not have liked what he was doing with the building because she kept buying it back. And then after he sold it and she sold it, it was a whole bunch of things after that. It was another theater, but I don't remember the name off the top of my head. But then it was a burlesque thing. It was like a sex theater for a while, like an
Was that where the slide was?
No. So in the meantime, from that, like way long time ago to when my mom was working there, she's gonna kill me after this.
Sorry, Mom.
I know, sorry. But then it was
Hey,
Brandon's.
this podcast doesn't have a name, so she can't find
She
it.
can't find it.
Yeah, she has no idea where it's at. I don't even know how anyone's even watching this because it cannot be found so far at this point.
Oh my gosh. So then it was Brandon's in the early 80s, and I guess that was like the cool place to go because they obviously still had the slide. And so in the meantime, it was all kinds of other things. It was like a skate park and an outreach program, and it was like a heavy metal
Wow.
music venue. Yep, it's been all these things, and it was a couple other bars, and then it was a swingers club for a while. It's been a jazz club. There's a lot of sexy vibes in there.
Did you
But
guys
keep it
remodel
dark.
this? Because your husband does contract work? Did
Yes.
you guys remodel it?
Yes, so actually when we got the building, he takes me there, and I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Literally, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Sorry
Because-
again, Mom.
Sorry, so,
Beep.
like where the patio is now, it's all concrete, stained concrete. Well,
Yep.
that was actually 2 double front doors. There was 4 doors, and they were all blacked out. If you Google the business address, like it's some scary pictures. So we wanted to have a patio, so we knocked out those things and had to pour all the concrete because when we came to look at it, there was like a water main break or something, and that was just like a board that you walked across to get into the main building, and there was like a 30-foot drop where they had to fix the water main that had broke, and
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, that's why I'm like walking in there like, what is this?
So did you buy into this building with
No.
that problem?
No, we just rent the building,
Okay, you rent it.
yes,
Got it.
because there's way too many problems for this.
Got it.
So, and they had to, whoever had it before us had to tear up all the concrete because they had to bring it back up to ADA compliance, so it was sand floors. There was a balcony, but no stairs to get upstairs, so we didn't know what was up there. And then a big giant hole, there was no bathrooms, no kitchen, no bar, there was nothing but sand on the floors and a big ceiling with like all the tiles hanging down. So yeah, I was like, what's wrong with you? Okay.
Great, honey.
Could you see the vision for what
No.
it looks like now?
Kinda no.
Is that your thing or not so much?
Well, I think between the two of us, we just knocked back and forth like the ideas of what we both wanted or what we thought was going to be cool. It's always been his big dream to own a bar and call it Vorshays because it's a line in a movie.
What movie? I want to hear. That was a question I had written down.
It's only used one time in this movie.
Do we want to know?
It's called Rounders. It's from 1998,
Oh, yeah, the
I
poker
think.
movie.
Matt Damon.
Yep.
It's a poker
Yep.
movie, and my
Yep.
husband plays poker, so it was kind of a thing for him.
I see.
So they used the line in the movie. It says like, we play poker in the back of Vorshays with the Russian mob. And so then, that's where we got Vorshays.
Interesting. That's good to know.
Yeah, so we built everything in there. We built every wall. We did all the floors. We built the stairs, and I painted and sheetrocked everything. And if you look really close, I'm not very good at it, but the lights are really dim, so it works well.
Drink more if you don't like it.
Exactly. Drink more. Don't look at the blue walls, okay?
So the bar, is the bar original or
No,
you guys
Steve
did
built
all that?
all of that.
Man, you sure couldn't tell. I mean, it fits in there so well. Like architecturally, it looks like it's always been there.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So, Natalie, can you tell us a little bit about you?
All about me.
Other than the fact that you had a closed bedroom upbringing, whatever you did growing up.
I am the oldest of 6 and the only girl.
Okay.
That was fun. And I'm a mom.
Are you close to your brothers?
Yes.
All of them.
All of them. Mm-hmm.
And how far is the gap from oldest to youngest? How many years?
The youngest and I are 21 years apart.
Wow. 21 years and 6 kids. Same family? No blended family or anything, or what?
They're all half siblings for me.
Okay, so it was a blended
Mhm.
blended family, 3 and 3?
It was 3 and 2, well, 4 and 2 technically.
So she was one short,
Mhm.
the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. I have 2 kids. I have my son Gavin is 17. He goes to East, and our daughter is 15 on the 30th of this month. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say she's 15. And
She's gonna want you to say
I know, right?
15.
She'll be like, I'm not 14 anymore.
It was so yesterday.
It was. And they're both at East High School, and they're pretty awesome.
That's
Most 90% of the time.
That's all you can hope for in teenagers.
So what's your big, you haven't always been a business owner,
Mm-mm.
right? Your husband was in the military.
He was a contractor and a police officer.
Okay, so not active duty,
Mm-mm.
just a contractor for military work.
Yes, because did you know that you can't join the military way back then if you're allergic to a common meat, and he's allergic to chicken? Sorry.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Yeah,
So he cannot go to Chick-fil-A.
no, I know.
Or the military.
It's a
Their
bummer.
56 ingredient chicken sandwich, which is amazing, by the way.
What is it called?
They have 56 or 57 ingredients in their Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
It's still really good.
I did find a sandwich recently that I really liked that I've never tried there, but, so anyhow, so you guys weren't always business owners, you weren't always entrepreneurs, so what like sparked the whole journey towards entrepreneurship?
Oh God, like there's just a lot of the little things that kind of spark when you want to do stuff. Steve and I are we're dreamers. We're always trying to create something, and this was just the one thing that came to fruition.
That's cool.
And
It's stuck.
yeah, it's like you throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks, and this one stuck, thankfully. And I don't know, we both have different ideas with different things, but this is the one that we drank a lot of Corona and yelled at each other and painted walls multiple times, different colors, and it actually worked. So,
That's awesome. So that seems to be a pretty common theme amongst entrepreneurs is a dream.
mhm. I've always been in the car business before this. Like I can work on cars.
You can work on cars.
Yes.
I had no idea, and I was
Wow.
in the car business before real estate. How did I not know this?
It's because you didn't have that much access to her because her parents were like,
Right.
Leslie who?
So I started at Pet Boys when I was 16 years old, and I was there for 10 years, and I worked at Midas and Eddie's and,
Really?
you know, and Kia. Like,
Specifically doing mechanical work?
I started off doing just regular things on the inside, like a cashier, and then I got a car that was a piece of shit, and I had to learn how to fix it. So they'll show you what to do and teach you how to do it, and then I was like, oh, I already know how to do this, I can do it.
So that's how you learn, through pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
My car
Or
won't
YouTube,
run.
Pain or YouTube.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
guess I better figure, and she didn't even have YouTube, right?
No,
Yeah.
I had mechanic YouTube in the garage.
Would you
It was
have
awesome.
would you have fallen over when you were a kid if you could have YouTubed how to change a...
It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
AI our homework like my kids do.
I tell my kids that all the time. You guys just don't, like we had no cell phone. There was no iTunes.
I know, they're just
Nothing.
dumbed down.
Zero. They're like, I know Dad, yours had a cord. And I'm like, well, it kind of went from that to a cordless and that was a big deal
Mm-hmm.
for us, so. Anyhow. What do you got, Leslie?
So, some of this we've already talked about, but what are some of the key lessons that you've learned from some of the failures and setbacks on
Yeah.
the business? And I remember some of the things I was thinking earlier when I was knowing that you were coming on to do this was COVID. I know that was
COVID
a
was
massive
dick.
issue. Yeah. That's one way
Did
of
you
putting
launch
it.
the business in 5 years ago, would have been 2018.
18.
Mm-hmm. And
So
then we
2
had,
years in COVID.
we had like a baby part of the year, and then we had a full year, and then it was like, no, you're closed. for
What did
like-
you guys do the first day that the news came out and you realized for the first time, oh my goodness, oh golly gee,
Jeepers.
we,
Chris's favorite word.
we cannot operate. What went through your mind?
Honestly, I don't remember. I just remember thinking, well, this sucks. Wonder how long this will be, like a couple weeks. I don't know, were we wrong or what?
I
So
remember
it took some
David
time for it to
to sink in.
settle in.
I think it did for everybody because I remember David's like, we need to go to the store, we need to buy a bunch of meat, we need
Oh,
to
yeah, that was
stockpile all
Steve
this
too.
stuff. And I'm like, except for chicken. And
No chicken
we gathered all
for
of
Natalie's
Steve's chicken.
husband. That's all. You guys out there can go eat chicken until
And I was
you're.
just like, I hate Costco. Like,
I
I
know.
hate bulk buying anything. And I was just like, you've watched too much science fiction. This is the biggest bunch of bullshit. We're all being scammed. Still possibly think that. But it's just like, it was crazy to sit and think about it. And then all of a sudden it starts sinking in. I mean, selling real estate and mortgages and running a business. And we're just like, are we going to be able to work? Okay, then we're going to look at finances. And it's like, how much time can we take off
Right.
and still eat and still pay our bills? And luckily we were deemed essential. So how long was it that you guys were shut down overall?
We just actually looked at it the other day. It was off and on for 10 months. Over 10 months.
So I don't know if
How
you
did you deal with
researched
that?
this. Yeah.
Well, we had a similar situation. What are we going to eat? Because we have all these kids. And it's like, at first you think that it's going to be okay. You know, like surely it's going to be okay. It's not that big of a deal. And then you just slowly see your account going, it's like just, and then there's nothing left. And then you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then that's when all these fancy COVID loans came out that we have now.
Is that what helped?
Yes,
So
it is.
you can truly say that the PPP, whatever it was called, helped you. Truly helped you.
That actually was not the biggest thing for us because we just don't have any employees. We really don't. We're so lucky that everyone that works for us loves us like we love them and they stay, and I just don't need, I only have like 5 people that work for us. And
You needed a lot of employees, right, to get those benefits.
Exactly. So
The more employees you had,
it wasn't very
the bigger the
substantial.
check.
Basically, it just paid 1 month rent and then a half a month. But so that wasn't that big. I mean, then
So
we
it's
were
like
like
taking
back
half
to
an
freaking
ibuprofen,
out all the time,
pretty much.
literally. And so
Yeah.
then we were back to freaking out, and then we just really got super far behind. Just being super honest, just majorly behind on everything, which we still are because we're still trying to cover it up. But we got the loan for it, the SBA loan, and that's the only reason why we're still open, because that helped us fix what we
Float.
could, but that didn't last very long either. So it just got us to where we were like, okay to open, and then now we're just like,
back into profit.
well, we're not there. We're just like hanging on. You know when you're treading water and your head goes above water? It's like some days are good and some days are bad. Some days are good and some days are bad. But anyone that owns a business, especially when you go through something so crazy, if they tell you it's not like that, they're super lying.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't know how many people that we've heard of that their businesses went under because of it. I mean, they just couldn't stay afloat, especially small business. You know, it wasn't like your employees could work from home,
exactly.
like another style of business. I mean, we're even seeing the repercussions of that in real estate, of people relocating and now they're able to work from home when they used to work, and it changed everything. I mean, in a weird.
So what did
Super
Vorshay's look like 3 months into COVID? What did your
Like a
business
ghost
It
look
was
like?
closed as
Totally.
totally closed.
Wow.
now, and you still get all the financial responsibilities of it.
Nothing ever stops. It just still keeps going because, like, if you turn off your coolers, then all of your beer gets bad. I mean, granted, it expires after a while, but during COVID,
It expired fast.
we just drank that shit. Because it's like, we don't have any more money. We're just going to drink this expired beer. It's fine. Don't tell anyone. I just told everybody.
Well, that's how you get your calorie intake for the
Exactly.
day. It's fine.
I don't think there's an entrepreneur or business owner out there that doesn't experience these but maybe that, but
too.
Or eat chicken, but that does not experience the roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride.
It is.
That's why it's not for everyone, right? Because some
Right.
people want to just show up at work, clock in, clock out. They get one paycheck, and that's it. That's
I
what they
forgot
like.
how
That's
awesome
what they're
that
comfortable.
was.
See?
Yeah, this kind of industry is for people that just like to continue to get punched in the face.
Seriously, though.
And it's just like, all right, give me another one. Let's
So
go.
there's the definition of entrepreneurship. You get kicked in the teeth. Okay, so roll up your sleeves and just put your face out there and
Embrace
get ready.
it.
Yep.
I had a friend tell me the other day, she was like, but you just don't even have to work. I'm like, what? Are you serious? My phone's ringing constantly. I get 47 text messages all throughout the day and night. And she was like, but you just are, it's like you don't have to be there all the time. I know, but I'm still there all the time because it's always at home
It's called
too.
a leash.
Yeah, there is a leash. It's like your phone, and it's not like what people think it is. It's just constant chaos all the time.
So, Natalie, let me ask you this question. Since we're talking about the ups and downs of business and the effects that COVID had on your business, I've got a crazy question for you that I threw out to my team in our meeting this morning, and got a couple pauses before answers, so we'll see where this goes. But can you tell us one bad thing, really bad thing, that you're grateful for? Where good came out of it.
What was yours?
Yeah, what's yours?
I can think of mine instantly.
During COVID, I had to lay off several employees and nearly shut down one of my companies that was a dream in the making, and it's never really fully recovered. But it led to what I'm doing now. I made some changes in my business, had to shift, restructure, retool, and rebranded, and came out with something 1,000 times better, in all honesty.
And I can think of mine was just becoming pregnant. I had no desire to ever have kids, and found a surprise, you're pregnant. I know that surprise, you should know how that thing works.
That's bad?
Yes, I didn't want it. I didn't want that. That was never my thought process or agenda. And so I was miserable. I was sick the entire 9 months, throwing up the entire 9 months. My eyes were the color of your glasses. I had no whites in them. And I know it was because I did not want a kid. And we were not financially solid. We were not relationship solid. Like, there was nothing solid about what we were going to bring a kid into.
So it's not that now your
Correct.
son was a bad thing.
Correct.
It was just that you had your sights set on a different track. And
I didn't know what the track was. I was drinking expired beer probably somewhere. I mean, that was my track.
She was somewhere knocking on Natalie's door, like, Natalie, can you come out and play?
You know, but
Natalie's parents were like, leave.
I had to get my shit together, you know, and become a functioning member of society. So I'm very thankful. It probably saved my life and 1,000 other mistakes that I could have made that I was on the road
That's
to
your
really
big
aiming for.
life.
Oh yeah, that was the first thing. As soon as you said that,
actually
I was
put
like,
you on track.
oh.
Is what you would say.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Natalie,
Yeah,
what's
big
yours?
blessing.
The one big bad thing
We
you're
stalled out by
thankful
giving
for.
you ours.
Yeah, there you go. You have no excuse now.
I don't.
We gave you 2 examples.
I don't really know, because I feel like we're still in the middle of trying to figure out, because that COVID and our business being so brand new and fragile, that was just such a clusterfuck of a situation that, like, still this many years later, we're really just.
You're not even on the other side of it,
We're
so
not.
you can't say
I
we
can't.
came out of this thing.
That's the worst thing
We're
that's
in
happened.
the clear.
Exactly, we are not in the clear, and it's just reality of real life. With when you have these types of things happen, like we're not there yet. So
What about
I can't answer that properly.
What about a smaller
Well,
scale?
or I'm
Like
even
something
thinking
that
like-
happened last week or last month that was bad.
Has it unified you
And-
and Steve? Has it unified your family more of like, okay, we're all in this shit show together and we're gonna do our damnedest to make it work?
We are, definitely. I think it's really made Steve actually step back into it a lot more, because at first it was his idea, and then he was like, ooh,
This is work.
this is way too much work.
Just
I'm
like
just
my
gonna go
other
ahead and let
friends.
you do it, okay? And I'm like, okay, great, thank you. Anyway, so that's how that happened, but I think it's really made him pull back into it, and it's more of a we thing again, and that's a good positive out of it, because I have more fun, and it's a lot less on my plate, especially now that the kids are older, and they have, our daughter plays like 400 different sports, and, you know, they're just all over the place, and with Steve, he brings a different aspect to the business than I do. Like, I rule with an iron fist, and I do all of these things, and then he's like,
So
everything's
super nice,
great!
Super nice.
Party
Yeah.
Steve.
That's one of my other questions. One of my other questions I have written down here is, how do you see life? Glass half full,
Mine's
or
empty
glass
usually, his is
half empty?
half full.
Got it. So that's why you make a good or a good team.
We
A
do.
good business
Empty,
team.
you don't strike me as that at all.
Well, it's because there's been like so many crazy things happen. I'm like, well, what's happening today?
Well, yeah.
So
She's telling you everything that she couldn't tell you in 9th grade.
Well, I mean, I've talked to her since 9th grade. I at least see her
But you
once
were
a month
limited.
for our business mixer.
Oh, honestly, it's just a lot of fun, especially if he's doing things with me, because then we can talk about it, and it's not just like, you know what I mean, not just one-sided of a story.
I totally get what you mean, because David and I, there are days that we have to divide and conquer,
Mm-hmm,
and I hate it.
mm-hmm.
Because even if we're in the same car, if I got the phone call yesterday that I got somebody cussing me out for calling them and they're on the do not call list or whatever, you know, we hang up and we're like, that guy sucks at life. He lives in California, that's why he's bitter right now. You know, we'll sit there and make jokes about it because that's where he was calling me from. And, you know, it's just like you have your bestie there.
Exactly.
And you're just having a good time even when you're dealing with.
And we
people
are
that
besties.
turds.
I always say we're codependent upon one another, but yet we're super independent, and
We're that way.
yeah,
People say that we could have like a conjoined toilet, like that's how much time we spend together.
that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
You kind
Like,
of
oh my
do.
God, don't leave me. No, but I need my space. You gotta go.
Yeah, no, we're that way.
Okay, good.
So I totally get it.
And now, so Natalie, what were you like? What were you like when you were a kid?
Well, I played lots of sports too. I wasn't very good at them except for cheerleading, but super outgoing. Well,
Went to Mays.
I did.
Graduated in.
Did you go there all 12 years?
No, I went to Wichita schools until 7th grade. I went to Hadley and then Wilbur, and then
I went to Wilbur.
nice.
Went to Wilbur?
Only for just like a couple weeks, and then some kid brought a gun on the school bus, and my mom was like, "I'm out."
Really?
My dad went and bought a chunk of land and built a house, and I never went back. I went to Mays every day since.
Wow.
She wore long skirts all the way to the floor. And
Oh my God, it wasn't like that.
All right, tell us more. So you're outgoing. You're athletic.
Mhm.
Best at cheerleading.
Mhm.
Were you nice?
Yeah, I
Did
hope
people
so.
like you?
I think they did.
Okay. What did the shy
And
kids
if they
think
don't,
about
do
you?
you care now? No.
Well, yeah.
Or were you quiet? You said you're outgoing. So do you mean outgoing like
I think I was very
like
friendly, and I
optimistic
talked
and
to everybody.
positive, or outgoing like extroverted outgoing?
Well, I had a lot of days where I sat outside of Mr. Blazek's class. Actually, he was the principal, but
You got in trouble?
well, I would talk a lot.
You got in trouble for talking?
I did every day, basically. And I was like really good friends with the principal's son, so we weren't really in trouble. We would just had to sit outside,
Because you knew
In the
you
hallway.
knew you could pull some strings.
maybe.
And I
Did
can't
you ever
even
have to
really
pull 'em?
imagine Blazek being mad.
He wasn't. He was just like, oh my God, what did you guys do today? And we're like, just talking.
Okay, sit out here.
See guys, if you grew up in the 90s like us, or the 80s really, and graduated
Yeah.
in the 90s,
Mhm.
the biggest problems in high school were talking.
I know, it's
And
so
I got
awesome.
on the one random Wilbur bus.
That was
I know.
a
What you
one-off.
guys?
That was a
Like Doug.
It was weird, right?
That was West Side. That shouldn't have been that way anyway.
I don't know,
That
because
was a
when we
one-off
went to
thing.
Hadley, did you go to Hadley or?
I did not.
Oh God, I was just talking about this last night with Rolls Royce. We didn't have freaking air conditioning then.
No.
No, it was so
We didn't
blazing
have
At the
hot.
school?
Yes,
Right.
I'll never
Yeah.
forget it. And we would sit upstairs on the balcony, you know, there's 2 levels of the school, and just like sitting there, and you would have sweat dripping off you, like falling onto your paper, and it was supposed to be okay, but they're like, but we have the big fans on, and you're like, fuck those fans.
It
It's
was
hot in here.
working.
It was really hot in here.
Yeah, do you remember that they had like days where it was like a heat
Mm-hmm.
contingency or whatever?
We
They
still
would
went
let
to
us out
school.
early? Yeah.
So Natalie, what if you could go back to elementary school Natalie and high school Natalie and today's Natalie, where did you see yourself in life? Like where did elementary school Natalie want to be when she was older? And where did high school Natalie want to be when she was older? And where
Do you
is
remember what
Natalie
you
now?
wanted to be in elementary school?
I wanted to be president of the United States.
You did.
And there's not a chance in hell I would ever do that.
You did?
Yeah.
I've never heard this about you. I thought I knew Leslie,
You
but
know.
I keep learning more
yeah,
things.
Yeah, no, that's what I wanted
You want
to
to
do.
be president of the United
Yeah.
States.
I don't remember that far away. There's
Yep.
been like
That's a
way too
great
much going
and
on.
ambitious goal.
And then
I
high
know.
school.
That's a hairy, audacious goal. Have you heard of a BHAG?
Yeah.
A big, hairy, audacious goal.
High school, I wanted to be a serial killer investigator just like Silence of the Lambs.
That would be awesome.
So when you were little, you wanted to be president, then you wanted to be an
Basically,
investigator.
still investigate people and, yeah.
Do you want to be a real estate agent today?
When I grow up, maybe.
We're still working on it.
Yeah.
All right,
Still
back to
working on growing
Natalie.
up.
Natalie, where were you when you were in elementary school?
When I was in elementary school, I'm clueless. I have no idea what
Did you
I
play
wanted
with
to be.
Barbies?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Did you
I
see the
was-
Barbie movie?
Yeah,
Okay. It's good.
it was good. I think I wanted to be a meteorologist in high school. Like I interned for Dave Freeman at Channel 3 for a while. It was really cool.
Really?
I wanted to join the Air Force and get my degree through them and then fly data into the hurricanes. Well, clearly none of that happened, so.
Did you
You're
watch
flying into the
Twister?
hurricane
Oh, yeah,
every
that
day
was
of
awesome.
You did watch
days.
Yeah.
Twister?
Uh-huh.
Did that inspire you?
Probably. It came out
Remember the
when we were in
movie
high school,
Twister?
didn't it?
Remember the movie Twister? Yeah. That's a total Kansas movie, for those of
Mhm.
you listening, by the way. It's not as big as Wizard of Oz, but
It's
Right.
pretty awesome. Helen
who
Hunt's
watches
hot.
Twister? You know, probably not people on South Beach,
No.
I wouldn't think, maybe.
They do have tornadoes there
Hurricanes.
when because I used to live in Florida, and like the hurricanes will come through there, which stirs up to tornadoes, and that's actually where most of their damage comes from.
That's
When you
crazy.
see it, it's straight line winds from the force of the water and the winds.
And you would know,
I know.
because you were gonna be a
I
meteorologist
was going to be.
and a jet flyer into storms.
Yeah, but I was failed at that. Bow, bow.
Okay, I'm
That's a
changing
cool
Chris's
goal.
topic again. So for people that haven't been to Vorshay's, how would you describe it to people? Like the vibe, like what's some of your signature things that you do, signature cocktails, activities that you have, that sort of stuff.
Well, the vibe is pretty sexy.
I agree.
What's
I like
that
that it's-
mean?
You should ask your wife. She could tell you.
I
and
don't
then you
know.
would know.
I mean, this light, it could be called sexy.
Well, you'd have to
What do
turn
you
it down a
mean?
little.
Does
It's
it
kinda
feel
bright.
good? Is it nice? Does it?
Yeah, it's
Do
like.
you
Yes.
get goosebumps? Warm
I don't
fuzzies?
anymore, but if I haven't, like if I go out of town for a couple of days, I'll come back and I'm like,
Does
"Oh,
it feel
this
like
is
a
so
hug?"
Cool. It's so cool.
It's just dark. I mean, it's
They have,
just
like
got
velvet
Vibey.
couches
Vibey.
and velvet chairs,
Yeah.
vibey.
Vibey sexy.
Yes,
Vibey
vibey
sexy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've never
See?
heard that term.
Me neither.
It's
But
like it feels really cozy, even though the ceilings are like 100 foot tall or something.
Right. Well, and I tell you, I really enjoy doing the business mixer there because I love all of the tall tables in the middle. Because we tried to do it somewhere else before we started having it at Vorshay's, and everybody would come in and sit down.
So weird.
And they
don't
never
talk.
got up and moved. So you talk to like one or two people that you sat next to the entire night, and you never moved around to get to know anybody else that was at any of the other tables. And so it's cool to have all these high tops. I mean, and we just kind of go in there and act like we own the place and move everything.
And you got a little
around. So-
stage.
She does.
You got a little
She comes
stage in
all the
there
time.
too.
We do
Don't
have
you?
a stage. We have live music every Friday and Saturday.
And that was probably used by other businesses before, right?
No, actually.
That stage is new.
It's
My
new.
sweetheart of a husband, he built that by himself.
Very nice.
Yep.
If you haven't been to Vorshay's, you should check it out because it's definitely a taste of Wichita historical real estate, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
got a lot of history behind it.
Well, and you've had some
that-
really awesome bands there. I mean, comedians, you've had, they've got karaoke. You haven't done that. You haven't stayed late enough for that at the business mixer. But that's how you really get to know who you're doing business with. You get them a little bit sauced, a little lubricated. They get some liquid courage. And then all of a sudden.
Liquid courage.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, but did you know she sings really well?
You do?
Yes.
And Chris was in a punk rock band. Can you believe that?
What?
I know.
That's where my brand comes from.
That's so awesome.
If you'd have told me when I was 22 years old that I'm not going to be a punk rocker, I'm going to be
I thought you were
a
gonna
mortgage banker,
I thought you were gonna be a pastor.
I would have plugged my fingers in my ears. And it kind of went back and forth. The
A
band,
punk rock pastor. There you go.
I like alternative.
the,
music.
ba-
The PRP.
the band was more in focus first before that kind of came into play. But yeah, it's kind of. But anyhow, yeah, I would have not believed you. You're not going to be a mortgage banker and wear this.
Monkey
No.
suit.
Well, our signature drink at Vorshay's is our old fashioned. It's everyone
Okay.
loves that. I'm not much of
How
a
come I didn't know
old-fashioned
this about-
person, but it's really
I love
delicious.
old fashions.
You should
I
come
thought
get
you
one.
had one there. I
No,
have
because
it.
every time I go, you stick your butterscotch,
Peanut butter whiskey.
Butterfinger,
It's that,
whatever it is.
that
Screwball.
screwball.
I kind of mix it up, but you know, it depends on what you have. Some days it's this, and some days it's that. It'll fluctuate, tequila to Guinness, you know.
Me too, that's my problem.
Diverse.
All right, what other
I
big,
don't have any flavors that I don't like usually when it comes to drinking.
Yeah.
I know it's bad. Oh, I have to tell you, our new menu's coming out.
Yeah. What's that?
It's supposed to come out on Monday, and it has 11 or 12 new signature drinks. So it'll have lots of classic cocktails on there, and then new ones. And there's a whole bunch of stuff we've never had before, so I'm really excited. And it'll be for our 5-year anniversary month that I'm going to push off till October.
Aha.
Because no one will know when we really opened until they watch this, because I just told them it was September, not October.
Surprise. Okay, so
what other big ticket, or not big ticket, I'm sorry. You have any other questions on your list?
are you doing any food changes or anything like that?
Well, you're always trying to do different things with foods. Our kitchen isn't open for very many hours of the
Right.
day, so.
But the meatballs are good, sandwiches are good,
They're good.
hamburgers good.
Mhm.
Trying to think of what else they've had there.
So I got a question for you, Natalie. What's the next 5 years of Vorshay's look like to you? What does it look like?
Perfect world.
5 years?
And a
From now.
perfect world, ooh, I would love to do like.
That's what I wanna hear. I wanna hear Natalie the dreamer,
Mhm.
the meteorologist dreamer girl, cheerleader,
I
chicken fan.
would totally love to do a remodel. Keep the vibe still the same, but just do a refresh.
What would you do? What would you make it, like, what would you put on it? What do you like? Is there a certain color?
I think the colors that we have really work,
Mm-hmm.
don't you think?
They're kind of moody. I like 'em.
Mhm. I just want to add, I want to redo the bar top, and I want to paint some cabinets and replace some cabinets. It's just, like,
A facelift.
yeah, it needs a facelift. So we do
Some
things.
new lipstick.
Yes, we do things like that all the time that people probably would never notice. There's always holes in the walls or whatever that I'm packing, spackling and fixing and things like that. But I want new couches. Everyone loves the couches, but I personally hate the couches. But if I took the couches away, it would be like an uproar.
Or travesty.
I think
Right.
businesses
Yeah.
are doing that more today than I've ever seen. Like, I
Right.
drove by a Wendy's yesterday. It's a cool looking Wendy's.
Really.
Like, it
Does it
looks
have
nothing
couches?
like, no, it's very modern looking.
Yeah.
Like they they
Mhm.
stripped it down.
Yeah.
It's a whole new Wendy's. And
I
it's
just
still
want-
Wendy's, right?
I want more things to be more moody. I'm a big texture person, or like with flavors, like layers of flavors and textures, like something's soft and something's furry, and
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It's just, I think it might just be like a woman thing, or I don't know. But those are the things I want to add to the mix, just little things here and there, and I want another location, but something
Okay.
maybe a little
So
different.
5 years from now, you could see two locations in Wichita?
I don't know.
Or do you see that in another city?
I think it would be in another city, but that's to be continued.
Whose idea was the art on the wall?
Originally, the art on the wall was actually Rochelle's idea, because she's been a big part of this, you know that.
Yep.
I have her earrings on today too.
I couldn't tell.
And so when we opened it, it was like, oh shoot, the jazz isn't really working, because like no one really comes to watch the jazz, because that's really what we wanted. And then she was like, well, let's book some bands. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. So that worked. And then she was like, we need to put something on the walls. I'm like, well, for sure, but we don't have any money. She was like, let's just call for art. And then that's how that happened. And so,
That's how the best things happen,
yeah.
right?
So they have all this art that hangs on the wall that you can go in there and purchase for your new house.
I see.
Yeah.
My goal, actually, this goes back to the other question. My goal is to have all nudes, because it is so vibey in there, and there's never kids in there. I mean, they can come in, but no one brings their kids in there. But
Right.
I want it to be all nudes, but tasteful nudes. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be hot?
Greek statues?
No.
What are you
No.
talking about?
Naked
David,
women.
we need a David statue.
And I actually had the idea, and I pitched it to one of my friend's dads. It's an artist, and
David
I said I wanted like silhouettes of all of our staff members, all the girls that work there, and that you wouldn't know who it was, because we wouldn't tell
Is
them.
your team on board with that?
Oh yeah, they were all on
They're all
board,
on
but I
board
just
with
need
it.
someone to
Okay.
do it. So if someone hears this, call me because I need to get this done because it's gonna be awesome.
I'm chuckling because I can think of several of the staff members, and you can't tell me that people wouldn't know the difference
Well,
between them.
probably.
Like, everybody is very different. Height, size, like, no.
I hope all of you out there are just loving and eating this up. It's
Yeah.
the podcast that has no name yet. Podcast.
I feel like that's definitely
With
not
Natalie.
Natalie's boobs.
Our first guest ever. Natalie.
One of our friends in, oh God, no, I think it was your husband. Was your husband the one that posted the 21 different types of
Oh,
boobs
yeah,
yesterday?
he did.
Yeah, okay. I knew I saw that somewhere online yesterday, so you have options of
Mhm.
what you're wanting to do.
Our
I'll
friend
show it to you
told
later.
him, he was like, how do you get away with posting that stuff on Facebook? And he goes, what? My wife loves it. It's like, I just don't even look at it.
He's pretty funny on
He
Facebook.
is.
I'm like, and then I laugh and I look at David and I'm like, I'd kill you if you posted that.
Mhm. Did you see the one where he posted of me where I was asleep and I made him leave all the blinds in the room open because I had to get up early, but then I couldn't go to sleep, so I put my mask on.
I don't know if I saw that or not.
He was like this big.
He's always doing crazy stuff and tagging Natalie in it. Or what was the thing for your anniversary or something about, was it mayonnaise?
I don't even know.
I don't remember what it was, but I mean, it was just like crazy stuff that he does to her all the time. So he's been doing stand-up comedy
Mm-hmm.
like all around the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Steve?
yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Did not know that.
Has he done it at Vorshay's?
Yes, we actually have another show coming up, December 14th.
Okay.
CJ Starr. He's actually.
So this is what I love right here. I did not know this, and I wouldn't have even known to ask the questions, but you kind of have a platform and a spin-off platform. I mean, that can be a business in and of itself. What
Right.
he's doing, right?
Yes.
Just Steve is his own.
He's his own
Random.
entity over there.
Yeah.
Natalie, like he might be your save and your gameplay
See?
for your 5-year goal and to
Mhm.
pay the PPP and all that.
Or it's all his fault. 'cause it was
COVID
his idea to
relief.
begin with.
There we go.
I like options.
But yes, he is a comedian. I can't talk. Comedian. And he's traveled all over the United States doing it. And
Which is fitting with your business,
It
which
is.
has a stage
Mhm.
that he built
mhm.
so he could stand on it, make people laugh.
He actually built it for the bands because when we first opened, he had built a small stage. And then we would see the bands get up there and they're like, trying
Yeah.
to smash together to put all their beautiful instruments and perform the things that I can't do. So I was like, you have to do something better. He was like, yes, I love making things bigger and better. That's what Steve and I do. We just like to do like really
Amplify.
big all the time. It's like big.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
either that or we just don't do it.
That's great.
Hmm.
Why put in the effort if it's only going to be half?
Okay, so Chris, you need to take your wife and see a show there. Not necessarily even the comedy show, but just like one of the concerts. It's insanity. I mean, it's packed to the gills. The upper level's all full. Rudy Love was great. I love going in there and seeing Epic. Trying to think of some of the other places, the other bands and stuff that we've been in there for, but it's got a cool vibe to it. And there's
Really?
people
I have
standing
not seen
around.
it like that.
Yeah.
I only see it during Mixer
That's what I think is so
business
cool. because
networking hour.
It's totally different vibes all the
Totally.
time. It's like calm, cool, and collected right after work, and then a couple hours goes by, and then we have karaoke, and it gets wild and crazy, and then on the weekends we have all this live music, and it's definitely super interesting. It's almost like a chameleon, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would.
And then we have comedy. It's crazy.
That's why I love this. I love this whole thing that Steve's doing because one of the things that I hear all the time, and I know it's true in my own businesses, plural, is that if you're an entrepreneur, it's always good to spin off and have multiple streams of income, or find ways to monetize your business in different directions, or come up with different businesses. I mean, some people have like 10 businesses or 100. I mean, it's
All under
Right.
an umbrella or something.
you never know. I mean, it might be the comedy act that just blows up. You just never know.
My dad always told me
Or both,
the
or
key
whatever.
to success is having your hands in multiple pots. So
Like it.
it's like having rentals or having multiple businesses. And so that's part of
So
my
would you say
5-year
that
plan.
if
I'm
you-
trying to have another pot.
You need another pot.
Another pot
I need
to
another
go
pot.
I knew you were going to
That's
say
right.
that. Why did I know you were going to say that? Don't
I don't
ask
know.
me why I knew Leslie was going to say that. I just knew it.
But she's done really good. I've only been the one that said bad words.
I might have said a couple, but
Oops.
I'm trying to keep it toned down because, you know, punk rock.
I'm just
pastor
looking
down here.
for an opportunity to say poop, but I haven't found it yet. So, hey, listen, so if you gave our listeners here to the podcast who has no name, we'd like to get your comments, by the way, and hear what you think this should be called. You might coin the next brand, the next big brand in our new pot that we're all standing here looking in. So, is that the advice if you gave everyone watching advice on what, like, your number one gold nugget, entrepreneur, someone starting a business, they're tuning into this podcast because they want to be successful at what they're doing. What advice would you give? Would that be the advice, I guess, that you would give?
That would be part of the advice, yes. Otherwise, I would say, do you have a really good plan? Okay, well, you probably should scratch that off because that isn't going to happen. And then you better have really
So
big
hold
balls
your
of
plan
steels.
loosely.
You're going to need to have balls of steels and be able to think on your feet and
Be kicked in the face
kicked in the face and
smile.
and you have to look like you love it.
I call that
There you
eating a
go.
shit sandwich.
Shit sandwich every day.
A poop sandwich?
Yes, poop. There you go.
Sandwich.
Boom. We made
I
it all
could have
come to
said it.
fruition.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's great advice. I mean, that's really true. I think
Yeah.
that message is just as true for a new startup business as it is for the largest companies in the world.
Yeah, it's always trying to problem solve and come up with better solutions.
Because nothing ever works the first 5 times.
The way you think.
The way you think.
And what do you say that usually what becomes the most successful is possibly something that you just never planned on?
Usually that's what happens.
So keep the ideas coming. That's what you got to do. All right, I got one last question for you, Natalie. Who do you look up to the most, or who inspires you the most? Where do you go to get pumped? Where do you go to get kicked in the face again and be okay with it?
I listen to a lot of podcasts, which is ironic that I'm on this one because I've never done this before. I think that you just have
Will you listen to this podcast?
I will.
Natalie?
If everything
She's
is
gonna
as funny
listen
as we are, I think it's going to be great.
Well, some people might think we're annoying.
I know,
don't
probably. It's fine. I'm not everybody's specialty. But I think that you have to be able to be humbled, and for me, I have to, for some reason, I think I have to learn the hard way. I don't know
I
if
really
that
have to
happens
learn
to
the
you.
hard way.
It's like, oh, you
Like
could
that.
go this way, and it would be like beautiful and butterflies. I can't do that. I have to go over there
To the dark side.
to that side.
But you want to go the butterfly.
I do. So
No, you don't, or you would.
I listen to a lot of like the podcasts, like the Diary of the CEO or something like that. There's a couple other ones that I listen to that I feel like they interview a lot of people that are relevant to what we're all doing, and we're not alone when like poop doesn't work.
Oh, I love Natalie
And,
so much.
I'm a quick learner. But you know what I mean? Like that's where I go for advice because if like I asked my mom, she's like, I just don't know, Natalie. You're gonna have to da 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 da. I'm like,
But you're a learner.
mm-hmm.
You listen
Sorry again, Mom.
and learn.
You have to.
I love that phrase, leaders are learners. I say it all the time. I don't know of anyone that's a leader or runs a business or a successful company that doesn't read lots of books or at least listen to them.
I do love reading
And learn.
also, which is kind of nerdy. I just returned 7 books back to the public library yesterday.
The public library.
I know.
Do you guys think there's a difference between listening to books and reading them?
Yes.
You do.
Absolutely.
You
I
think
like
that-
to write in them.
You think that holding a physical book
It's a whole new thing.
beats the electronic mediums?
I do because when you're listening to something, you're like, and you're doing all these other things.
That's a good point.
You know
I
what I
like
mean?
me.
Not fully focused.
Right.
I'm not thinking about myself here or anything like that. Who listens to audiobooks and doesn't retain some of it.
We'll just
Maybe
listen
a
to
little
it
bit.
again. It'll be fine. Don't
So
put
she
too much.
likes books, Natalie likes
pressure.
books, and you like books.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yes.
Physically, okay.
Yep.
That's why I had to go to the library because I got to the point where my daughter loves to read too, and so I thought, oh my God, we're spending so much money at that bookstore.
You get late fees at the library?
Yes, but the trick is you just call and then they check it out.
She kind of like your principal.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know the principles. Oh, I love it. This is so good.
All right, so to wrap things up, if anybody wants to come to Vorshay's, what's the address?
417 East Douglas, We are between Topeka and Emporia on the south side of the street.
And then, I'm not sure when this is gonna come out, but the third Wednesday of every month, we have our business mixer there. So if you guys would come love to network with us, we would love to have you there.
Yeah, Natalie, thanks a lot
Thank you for,
coming in here. You don't even know me, and we don't even have a name for a podcast that we're launching.
let a
This would be
message, I
great.
said, this is what we're gonna do, can you do this? And she's like, I don't know, but I should.
I had already been to a wine sampling yesterday, so you got me the best time ever.
Yes, yes.
I was like, sure, I'll do it.
Was it terrible?
No, it was fun, actually.
Okay, who else should we have come on here?
I don't know.
I think there's
I'll
a
come
lot
up
of
with somebody.
entrepreneurs that are
Okay.
successful. And I think the goal for our podcast here is to feature business owners and entrepreneurs that aren't on the large platforms nationally. That
And
don't get-
places we enjoy
Their stories don't
going, or-
necessarily get told all
Yeah.
the time, and they're very successful, and they have a lot of insight to glean from.
And continuing
from.
to work on making Wichita an even better place to be.
Because it's pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
Wichita's cool. Wichita is an entrepreneurial city.
It is.
Like
agree.
some big companies have come out of here. Because there's not much, well, I shouldn't say it like that, but.
Delete.
Natalie, thank you for coming on
Thank you.
the No Name Podcast for entrepreneurs, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and thank you for tuning in. Have a great week. If you get your teeth kicked in, don't worry about it.
Keep going.
Keep going, Natalie says. That's it. Thank you.